A wet wipe cannot be mostly water. It physically cannot. A sealed, moist product built primarily from water and nothing else grows bacteria within 48 hours of manufacture. It turns, it smells, it becomes a petri dish in a resealable packet. Every company selling you a natural baby wipe knows this. The ones telling you their wipe is 99% water know it most of all. Premium natural baby wipes cost between 10 and 18 cents per wipe. Standard wipes cost between 3 and 6 cents. Over a typical 2 years of diapering, roughly 6,000 wipe uses, that premium adds up to between $420 and $900 extra. That money is paying for a story about water. In most cases, it is not paying for a meaningfully different product. 6 of the most trusted natural baby wipe brands on the market today contain preservative systems, synthetic compounds, or undisclosed chemical processing that their marketing does not mention. Some have never mentioned it, some cannot, because they have been owned for years by exactly the kind of company their branding tells you they are different from. Water Wipes, the Irish brand that built this entire category, describes its product on its website as the world's purest baby wipe. That is their claim. Their ingredient panel lists 2 items, purified water and fruit extract, grapefruit seed extract. What the packet does not say is this. A peer-reviewed study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry in 2001 found that commercially available grapefruit seed extract products contained synthetic preservatives, including benzalkonium chloride, that were not declared on the label. The antimicrobial power attributed to natural grapefruit seed extract may come, in part, from synthetic compounds introduced during processing. The world's purest baby wipe has an open scientific question inside its 0.1%. That question has been in the published literature for over 2 decades. It is not on the packet. We look at 6 brands, ranked by the distance between what the label promises and what the chemistry delivers. 3 alternatives that actually earn the trust stay until number 1. Because the brand at the top created the claim, every other brand on this shelf is now copying. And the claim has a problem that was documented in scientific literature 11 years before the brand even launched. We pulled the ingredient panels, the EU Scientific Committee opinions from 2013 and 2016, the FDA Modernization of Cosmetics Regulation Act records from December 2022, the first major update to federal cosmetics oversight since 1938, the Environmental Working Group's skin-deep database entries for each product, the corporate acquisition filings from the Securities and Exchange Commission, the contact dermatitis research from 2015 and 2019, and the ownership structures behind the brands that tell you they are independent. This is not a comparison of which wipe feels softer. This is the paper trail behind the natural baby wipe aisle, and here is what it says. Number 4. Huggies Natural Care, Kimberly-Clark, the word with no legal definition. The word natural has no legal definition in U.S. cosmetics regulation. None. The FDA does not define it for cosmetics. The Federal Trade Commission has guidance for food, but no binding cosmetic standard for the word natural. The ingredient panel includes water, yes. It also includes disodium EDTA, a chelating agent that extends the shelf life of other ingredients. Polysorbate 20, a synthetic surfactant. Huggies Natural Care Wipes are manufactured by Kimberly-Clark, the Dallas-based company that also makes Kleenex, Scott Paper Products, and Kotex. Kimberly-Clark's 2024 net sales were approximately $20 billion. The natural care wipes carry a plant-based ingredients claim. The ingredient panel includes aloe barbadensis leaf extract, accurate, alongside polysorbate 20 and phenoxyethanol. And until reformulations that rolled out through the mid-2000s, the timing varied by market. Some versions of Huggies wipes contained methylisothiazolinone, MI. MI is a preservative. In June 2013, the EU's Scientific Committee on Consumer Safety issued a formal opinion concluding that methylisothiazolinone was not safe for use in leave-on cosmetic products, following a mounting body of evidence connecting it to allergic contact dermatitis. In 2016, the EU restricted MI to a maximum concentration of 0.0015% in rinse-off products as well. Baby wipes are applied to skin and wiped. They are not fully rinsed. The EU's restriction applied. The reformulation timeline on the US market lagged behind the European regulatory response. Natural care is still on shelves. The word natural is still on the front. The gap between the EU's 2013 finding and the American reformulation timeline was never put on the packaging. Coming up, the celebrity-founded clean brand that went public at a valuation of $1.44 billion. The IPO prospectus listed phenoxyethanol in the wipes. The front of the packet listed something else entirely. Number 3. The Honest Company. The clean promise and the public offering. The Honest Company was founded in 2012 by actress Jessica Alba and entrepreneur Christopher Gavigan in Santa Monica, California. The founding premise was specific: products free from ingredients the founders deemed harmful, with full transparency about what was inside. The brand built its identity around that promise. The name was the mission statement. In May 2021, the Honest Company launched its initial public offering on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange under the ticker HNST. The IPO raised approximately $412 million. The company was valued at approximately $1.44 billion on its first day of trading. The Clean Baby brand was now a publicly traded corporation with quarterly earnings obligations. The Honest Company's wipes contain phenoxyethanol. This was not hidden. It appeared on the ingredient panel, as required by labeling regulations. But phenoxyethanol sat in direct tension with the founding narrative. In 2016, 5 years before the IPO, a class action lawsuit was filed against the company in federal court in California. The lawsuit alleged that multiple Honest products contained chemicals inconsistent with their marketing claims. The laundry detergent was central. It was alleged to contain sodium lauryl sulfate, despite the brand's SLS-free positioning. When a company built entirely on a safety promise becomes publicly traded, the incentive structure around that promise changes. The pressure on ingredient costs and manufacturing margins does not always move in the same direction as the purity claims. Jessica Alba's face is still in the marketing materials. The Nasdaq listing is in the annual report. Those two facts mean the entity selling you the clean promise is accountable to a different audience than the one on the label. Number 2 was acquired in 2016 by the British-Dutch company that also owns Dove, Axe deodorant, Domestos bleach, and Ben & Jerry's ice cream. The acquisition price was $700 million. The environmental founding mission was included in the sale. 7th generation. The $700 million environmental mission. 7th generation was founded in 1988 in Burlington, Vermont, by Jeffrey Hollander and Alan Newman. The name comes from the Great Law of the Iroquois Confederacy, the principle that decisions today should consider their impact on the next 7 generations. It was one of the earliest American consumer brands built explicitly around environmental responsibility. In September 2016, Unilever acquired 7th generation. The deal was valued at approximately $700 million. Unilever is a British-Dutch multinational parent of Dove, Axe, and over 400 other brands. Its 2024 annual turnover was approximately 60 billion euros. The company that acquired the 7th-generation environmental framework also manufactured industrial bleach in the same portfolio year. Post-acquisition, 7th-generation wipes kept the plant-based positioning. The ingredient panels include phenoxyethanol. Unilever ownership is disclosed in the fine print. It is not on the front of the packet. The 7th-generation shopper is typically more engaged, more values-driven, and more likely to read an ingredient panel. That consumer profile is part of what Unilever paid $700 million for. It is also the profile most likely to notice when phenoxyethanol appears on the back. The 7 generations of children are still referenced. The generation of Unilever shareholders is not. Number 1 on this list created the 99% water claim that changed the entire baby wipe industry, and the open scientific question was published 11 years before the brand even launched. Number 1. Water wipes. The world's purest baby wipe, and the question behind the 0.1%. Water Wipes was founded in 2008 in Cork, Ireland by Edward McCloskey. His newborn daughter had severe skin sensitivity. The formula was radical in its simplicity: 99.9% purified water and 0.1% grapefruit seed extract. Everything else was water. The simplicity was the brand. It expanded into more than 50 countries. Every other brand on this list owes part of its marketing framework to the space Water Wipes created. Here is the problem. In 2001, a study examined commercially available grapefruit seed extract products. What the researchers found was this: the antimicrobial activity did not appear to come from the grapefruit. It appeared to come from synthetic preservatives introduced during commercial processing, specifically benzalkonium chloride, methylparaben, and triclosan, compounds that were not declared on the GSE ingredient panels. The grapefruit seed extract was not killing bacteria because it was grapefruit. It was killing bacteria because it contained synthetic antimicrobials that were not on the label. A 2011 study reached similar conclusions. Water Wipes does not publicly disclose which supplier provides its grapefruit seed extract. The company has not addressed the 2001 and 2011 research findings. The natural and synthetic action were not separable from a commercial supply. This is not a verdict against Water Wipes specifically. It identifies a systemic problem with commercially produced grapefruit seed extract. Water Wipes may use a clean supply chain. They may not. The company has not made that supply chain visible. The claim is the world's purest baby wipe. The chemistry behind the 0.1% has a documented open question since 2001. The patent was built on top of a compound with an unresolved sourcing question. That is the distance between the story and the chemistry. That is number one. But there are three things that actually change the outcome positively. A soft cloth dampened with clean, warm water is chemically simpler than every product on this list, including Water Wipes. It costs a fraction of the price. It is a cotton cloth and a bowl of water. In 2021, the British Journal of Dermatology published a systematic review of existing research on newborn skincare practices. The review found that water-only cleansing was associated with lower incidence of skin barrier disruption. A systematic review gathers the strongest available evidence from multiple studies. The finding was that for the newest and most sensitive skin, the simplest option had the most consistent clinical support behind it: a washable cloth and water. The least profitable recommendation in this category, and the one most supported by the evidence for newborns specifically. Number 2. The ingredient panel has been honest the whole time. The front of a baby wipe packet is a marketing document. The ingredient panel on the back is the only honest part of the packaging. Under the FDA's Modernization of Cosmetics Regulation Act, signed into law on December 29, 2022, the first major revision to federal cosmetics law since 1938, all ingredients must be declared. If a wipe contains phenoxyethanol, it will be there. If it contains sodium benzoate alongside citric acid, both names will appear. The front of the packet does not have to disclose any of this. The back does. One other word to look for: fragrance or parfum. A single word that can legally represent dozens of undisclosed individual compounds. The International Fragrance Association maintains a library of approximately 3,000 chemicals. Number 3. The shortlist standard actually exists. Not every natural baby wipe brand is a marketing exercise. Jackson Reese is a British brand founded in 2008 by a father whose son had eczema. Their range, designed for newborns, contains 4. The full ingredient list is on the front of the packet, not just the back. It does not trade on a stock exchange. It has not been acquired by Unilever, SC Johnson, or any subsidiary of a global chemical conglomerate. Jackson Reese exists as a standard. It demonstrates that the shortlist is achievable. The brands on this list, charging more and disclosing less, have made a choice. Jackson Reese made a different one. The benchmark exists. A wet wipe cannot be mostly water and nothing else. That was always true. Every brand in this category knows it. The question was never whether preservatives were necessary. They are. 6 brands used the words natural, sensitive, clean, plant-based, or the number 99 to create a gap between what you assumed you were buying and what the ingredient panel actually contained. None of that means the products are dangerous. What the evidence does support is this: the premium you paid was for a story, and the story was not the same as the chemistry. The ingredient panel was on the back of the packet the entire time. It still is. Now you know what to look for. If you have any of these brands in your home right now, flip the packet over.